Welcome to Synagogues of England, Part 13. This is our third segment dealing with the Jewish houses of worship in Greater Manchester. All of the synagogues in this episode are of the Orthodox persuasion, but they are an eclectic group. Take, for example, this first site. This is the new home of Ohel Torah. It is down the block from the long-standing facility that it had used for many years. The congregation itself is more than 70 years old. They offer very little publicity about their operation. Other than that, they offer a variety of kollel programs or adult education opportunities. Its rabbi since 2001 is Rav Shlomo Hoff. Our next site is a congregation called Orameach. It lists its address as this private residence that seems to be under renovation. It's located in the North Manchester area in the city of Salford. Our next stop is an overhead shot of the Prestwich Hebrew congregation, also affectionately known as the Shrubberies. This is because the building that was located here, or the old hall, before the synagogue was built, was called the Shrubberies. The congregation has been around for at least 78 years. It's a proponent of modern Orthodoxy, and its rabbi is David Eisenberg. There is either an organization or a synagogue located here that lists its address at the residential property shown. This is also in the city of Salford, and it is called Reshet, which in Hebrew means network. So there is a possibility that it also offers social services. And then here's the Sale and District Hebrew congregation located in Sale, which is part of the Cheshire County. This is a congregation of very recent, interesting past. The congregation itself began in the late 1940s, but its membership rolls have been dwindling. This area is considered South Manchester, and the local municipality council are investigating complaints by its neighbors in the fall of 2013 because it appeared as if a congregational member or friend of the synagogue was renting space within the building for use for its own offices. The council's initial investigation seemed to indicate that this was not the case, but ordered the synagogue to do landscaping and painting to spruce up the building and its surroundings. 2 years earlier, in August of 2011, the congregation had let go its full-time rabbi and hired a 27-year-old religions and theology student at Manchester University to be its guest chazan. At that time, 7 years ago, the congregation's membership had declined to about 70 families. Here's an overhead shot of Shomrei Hadass, also known as the Sedgley Park Synagogue, for its location. Its spiritual leader has been Rabbi Kestenbaum. The congregation was established in 1947 and was a breakaway from the Prestwich Hebrew congregation, or the Shrubberies, as we showed you earlier in this episode. For a while in the 1960s, the congregation may have even been inactive or dormant. Not to confuse anyone, at one time there was also a Sedgley Park Hebrew congregation which merged in 1933 into the Holy Law congregation, showcased in our previous episode. We're looking at an overhead shot, the Sharei Hamayim Synagogue, which is also known as the Sephardi Congregation of South Manchester. It was formed in the late 1990s as a result of a merger between the Withington Congregation of Spanish and Portuguese Jews and Shaarei Tzedek Synagogue. Here's a look at the main sanctuary interior and another closer look at the front entrance. The Withington Shul had been established in 1904, whereas the Shaarei Tzedek was 20 years later in 1924. We believe its current rabbi is Shlomo Elituv. North Manchester also has a Sephardic congregation. This one is called, it's the Spanish and Portuguese Western Sephardic Jewish Community. We believe that the congregation moved to this converted schoolhouse in Moore Lane in the early 1970s. It's possible that the spiritual leader is Rabbi Nir Nadav. Here is a look at the interior sanctuary area. We conclude this episode letting everyone know that we still have another episode about the Jewish presence in Manchester. So, see you soon.